Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Mark.
Welcome back, Mark. Last week I did 2 weeks ago, should I say, I did the show by myself, and we're back as a team. We're going to keep on going throughout the whole summer, every 2 weeks, and the week that I'm not on, I usually try to do a radio show. I had a lot of problems with my PC and a bunch of mic problems, and I finally managed to get a show on the air on Block Talk Radio yesterday. Okay, and I love a couple of little details, some news information I want to get to. So we're going to start with that, then we're going to go box office, and then Mark has Ninja Turtles review, and we also got to catch up with the X-Men reviews. But first, in case you missed the shows, last week, of course, 2 weeks ago, I mentioned the website, videolandexpress.com, and the blog. You can get to the blog through the link on the website. And in case you missed these live shows, let's go to our YouTube page so you can actually see how it looks like. That's our YouTube page right there. And all the shows are posted there. Okay? And if you look in the right-hand corner, you will see Apollo Movie Guy. That's the second website we tagged on to. That was run by the one and only Mr. Santos Morales. He was my co-producing partner for over 10 years, live on the air. Until Mark was nice enough to come in and step over, take his place, should I say. And, of course, Sanders is retired. We have clips of a lot of creature features, Ray Harryhausen, a lot of space things. And, of course, if you dig down deep enough, you will find a lot of behind the scenes of James Bond. And one of them is... those are shows like the past 2 years. We have a catalog of over 25 years we've been on the air. It's going to take such a long time to put all those shows up. So right now, we have the past 2 years. But on this particular one, on Videoland Express on YouTube, we have an audition tape of James Bond with James Brolin. That's right. That's Josh Brolin's father. James Brolin, who's now married to Barbra Streisand. James Brolin was really big back in the 70s and 80s. And he went to audition for Octopussy, for a James Bond role. And that was basically a setup where they tried to bring Roger Moore's salary down. You know, Roger Moore said, I'm not coming back to the James Bond franchise. I said, okay. Not only will replace it, we're going to replace it with an American actor. How you like that? Of course, everybody knows that Roger Moore came back to do Octopussy, then he did one more from View to a Kill. So why am I mentioning that? Let's get the show going. I'm going to open up with some tidbits. And I started saying this on my radio show yesterday. I ran out of time. So let me put on my blind man eye focals here. Okay. Of course, I keep showing You Only Live Twice. Why do I keep mentioning this film? Where is Spectre? Well, Spectre was an indirect remake of You Only Live Twice. We all know that James Bond, Sean Connery, he left, right? What would you call it? I'm reading my little notes in the back. Ta-da! Okay. Sean Connery left, and they had George Lazenby, and then he came back. Sean came back for Diamonds Are Forever. Okay. Now, Roger Moore did almost the same thing. They had James Brolin. That audition clip I said is on our YouTube site. You dig in, it's about 3-4 pages of videos. You'll find it. But anyway, now they thought that Daniel Craig is trying to pull the same thing. Well, as I mentioned on the show yesterday, on the radio show, no, Daniel Craig signed on for a Showtime for 2 seasons. I forget the name of the show. And but yeah, he went back to cable TV for 2 seasons of a show. And he became an executive producer. Okay, people were asking me, and this is a tidbit I forgot to mention on the radio show. Why did he choose not to do 2 James Bond movies for $100 million? Mainly because he doesn't have to bust his ass and spend about 6 months on one project, and he really messed up his knee. That what happened to Sean Connery. He messed up his knee. The last movie he did was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and he decided not to do any more movies because of his knee injury. That happens to a lot of actors. So Sean Connery was forced to retire. Anyway, and Daniel Craig said, I don't want to go that route. There's too much action. This TV series, basically, he's going to sit behind the desk and just, give orders and stuff like that. But being executive producer and being a Showtime for 2 years, and then there's the residuals of being repeats, and then it goes over to Netflix, and then on Hulu, and then on other cable channels, and then Blu-ray releases, downloads and all that. The equivalent is actually more money than James Bond, believe it or not. So, catching Clive Owen. Remember that TV show called The Nick, where he played a doctor back in the 1920s, I believe? Excuse me, the late 1800s, that's right. And they said, why do a show for only 2 seasons? Catching, he said, well, after 4 or 5 lousy movies that didn't do all that good, he made it up by doing that TV show. And he's taking it easy right now. There's a lot of money in cable, all because of streaming. That was the point I was trying to make yesterday at the show. I kind of lost touch. Okay, I did mention Dwayne Johnson. Before I lose my voice, Mark is going to review Ninja Turtles. So let me do this real quick. Excuse me. Dwayne Johnson is going to do a variation of the Towering Inferno. It's Die Hard meets the Towering Inferno. It's called The Skyscraper, being filmed in China. Now, remember in the past couple of shows, I've been saying that China wants to do Hollywood. Well, this is going to be one of the big major movies, and Dwayne Johnson is actually going to go to China. It's going to be a U.S. and Chinese production, okay, and it's going to be filmed over there. And already China is making its mark about trying to take over Hollywood indirectly. Okay, but this is an old-time classic, Towering Inferno. If you get a chance to check this out. Okay, next. Now, let me switch over here. I've been talking about Purple Rain. We find out that he accidental overdose. Kevin Smith directed the last episode of Flash, which was really good. And the tidbit is that he actually spent a week in Paisley Park Studios. And it was supposed to be a documentary. He filmed Prince for about a week, and Prince said, nah, I changed my mind, bye. So Kevin Smith has about 7 days worth of footage shot at Paisley Park. We all heard the relatives are fighting for his fortune, and there's a lot of music in the vault that hasn't been released. Well, there's about 7 days of filming for a documentary on Prince that Kevin Smith directed. And we don't know if we're going to see the light of day. I mentioned Prince also. Anyway, I should have. That's what I meant today. Prince, right. Blu-ray. I reviewed it on my radio show. You want to listen to that? And a lot of people don't know that. People forget, should I say, because it's been so long. He did the accompanying soundtrack. Danny Elfman did the original soundtrack with Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, but he did that whole Batman, Vicky Dale. Vicky Dale? Is that Vicky Dale?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that soundtrack sold over 7-8 million copies. That's when albums and CDs were around back then. Okay, that's a little trivia, and I did mention about Rogue One. This is going to be the next Star Wars after The Force Awakens. Okay, directed by Gareth Edwards. He quit Godzilla, and to finish up on Rogue One, that's going to be the big picture ending the year. That's why we're mentioning it. So for the big picture this year is Captain America, and already a lot of movies always have reshoots. They go back and do additional scenes. They try to fix up some weak spots. Maybe the middle kind of drags out. They cut it down, meaning like Batman and Superman Ultimate Edition. They have a lot of features coming out, but there's no commentary. We all know what happened with that. The script was 400 pages. Remember, 1 page equals to 1 minute of screen time. That means that would have been like almost 400 minutes, and they cut it down to about 3.5 hours. We only get the 3-hour version. There's still a half hour missing. Didn't mention anything about deleted scenes. But anyway, that was such a mess that they had to cut it down, editing, which I'm trying to get to. Well, they had to finish product Rogue One, and Disney was not happy. Disney is very tight when it comes to production. They want to make sure the money is being wasted. Like Mars, John Carter for Mars, they had a lot of problems with that. So when Disney says you're going to go back and reshoot, it's specifically after we gave you a certain amount of time and money and budget, and the picture is still not what we're looking for. They called it a really dark war movie. That's not what they wanted. So the main reason I'm mentioning this, because this just got brought up this morning. It came out in Variety magazine, something that I didn't mention in my show yesterday. So I just want to add to that. They brought in Tony Gilroy. He is a really talented screenwriter. He's probably best known to do to work on the Jason Bourne movies. Then they brought in Simon Crane, stunt coordinator and second unit director, and he worked on World War II, Edge of Tomorrow, Titanic, Saving Private Ryan, a couple of X-Men movies and James Bond movies. Okay, they brought these two guys in to pick up Star Wars big time, to put a lot of action, a lot of stunts, a lot of fighting and stuff like that. They said the movie was kind of boring. Yeah. They said the movie was it's like a war movie, but too dark, too golden, I don't know. But anyway, that's what happened with that. That's another little tidbit I didn't mention, the radio show. Mainly because the radio show is like 30 minutes, and all this news basically came out yesterday after I did the show, and this morning with the Star Wars thing. Okay, and then of course I mentioned Deadpool. Now I'm losing my voice. Let Mark do his review on X-Men, and then we're going to go over some other movies that we've seen in the past couple of weeks where we haven't mentioned them. Okay, Mark, please do the honors.
You're going to do any more with Deadpool?
I know, there was a tidbit here. I mentioned in the radio show.
I thought they were doing a lot of hyping for the Deadpool DVD. For some reason or another, they really want to get more money off of this film. They're not satisfied with the amount of money they brought in. Now they continue to advertise it on television to sell even more of the DVDs.
Well, it does have two commentaries. If you want to, I mentioned some of them on the radio show. It'd be kind of like a spoiler because there's a lot of good tidbits. Listen to the Ryan Reynolds commentary. He gives you a lot of info on, especially on production, a lot of details, and one of the big details about the whole X-Men universe, because we haven't talked about X-Men. The one thing interesting about X-Men, and it mentions on the commentary of Ryan Reynolds. Thanks for bringing that up. I forgot about that. On Ryan Reynolds' commentary, he does mention that the franchise was always supposed to have Colossus as the leader and not Wolverine. Wolverine character took off and he always concentrated on Wolverine. Now they introduced Colossus through Deadpool, and if you've seen X-Men, we're going to talk about it after Ninja review.
Definitely.
Now they're going to focus on having Colossus as the main focus, as the main ringleader.
Right.
After Xavier, and that's why they introduced Colossus. He was supposed to be the big ringleader instead of Wolverine. Wolverine character took off the 20 years, and if you notice about X-Men, the picture is basically a reboot of the first and second picture. But before I get ahead of myself, because I'm losing my voice.
Okay. All right. Take your break, and I'll clue you in with X-Men.
The Do Ninja and X-Men.
Ninja Turtles.
Let's do the Ninja.
All right. So, like you were saying before, like China is looking to get into the market. Now, when they start Teenage Mutant Turtles, then the next sequel that comes up, on the screen you'll start seeing what are the major motion picture industry leaders that were brought together to make this film. You have Paramount, then you have Michael Bay Productions, then you have something out of like a studio out of China that comes in. Their name is right there, and you could tell that it's a Chinese studio. And then you have another studio that's called Alibaba Studios. I'm not sure if this coincides with Alibaba, which is like Amazon, the Amazon market in China. But it could be them. Because after they say the Alibaba Studios, you see that they have their Chinese characters underneath. In other words, it could be the same thing. It could be sort of like Sony has, they make these products, and then they have Sony Studios.
Right.
So this could be Alibaba and Alibaba Studios.
Okay.
And then you have China Studios in there too. And I was trying to think of what does Teenage Mutant Turtles have to do with China Studios anyway? Because ninjas are supposedly Japanese.
Yeah.
But and like you were saying earlier, this is just their introduction into the studio and the film industry, because they are smart. I mean, the films that are making money are movies for the kids, like Transformers, Nemo, all these movies. Any movies for the kids, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, boom. All right, that's a little bit side note on Alibaba.
How long were the credits? Introducing this to
They hit two levels of credits. As soon as they first did Paramount, they came in with the Ninja Stars and then did the Paramount Stars. After that, Michael Bay production. Then some studio from China, and then they introduced it with the Chinese characters. And then Alibaba Studios. And then they broke into the movies, and then again they let you know Paramount, Michael Bay, the Chinese studio, and boom, Alibaba again. Alibaba Studio.
Now, with all that busy introduction, was the movie worth it?
Well, for kids, kids are going to love it because kids don't know what they're watching. The movie is hyper intense for children. You know, it's like constantly flashing people doing twists and jumps. You know, you lose focus on what the story's all about. You stop caring. But the kids love it because they say, oh, you're going to, spoilers. So if you don't like, you want to hear these spoilers, it's all going to be spoilers. You know, if you haven't seen the commercials, which commercials are 100% spoilers. First spoiler, you know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are going to win.
Right.
First spoiler. Second spoiler, okay, they got Bebop, Rocksteady, they have Casey Jones, April O'Neil is back.
Okay.
Then you have, I forgot the guy, the actor who plays a news reporter, he's back. And, you know, Casey Jones, who's the Green Arrow, is in it. What else do you have? Then you have Craig. He shows up. He takes over the being the bad guy. First half is Shredder, then Shredder is, you know, taken over by Craig, and then Craig does the rest of the final part of the film. And that's when it culminates. But it culminates in that regards. But it's basically like dangling your keys in front of your child for 2 hours or 3 hours, saying, "Look at this, look at this." Mm-hmm. And the opening scenes, you see them doing flips off of the Empire State Building, or not the Empire State. Was it the Empire State Building? Yeah. I think it was the Empire State Building or the Chrysler Building. Yeah, the Chrysler Building. They jump off. They do big turns, and you don't even know why they're doing it. Mm-hmm. They're just doing it so they could show you all the things they could do with the CGI. They jump around and do all these kicks. They grab pizza. They jump from all the way to the Chrysler Building to Madison Square Garden. You know, from jumping from building to building. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know how that connection is, but it's ridiculous. What are they doing in front of the Chrysler Building anyway?
It sounds like Spider-Man.
Yeah, they do like Spider-Man jumping around and float all the way just to get to Madison Square Garden, and then that's where everything starts. And to me, it wasn't really that interesting, but kids are going to love it.
Is it better than the first one, or it just...
Oh, yeah, it was better than the first one. Because the first one, I think... they did a misdirection. They wanted to have one person play Shredder, but they felt that his character, he was a very good actor, but he was supposed to be the scientist that was going to be Shredder. I don't know, it didn't make any sense. But they felt that this was more of the whitewashing of Hollywood. So they said, all right, let's get rid of the white person we're going to put as Shredder and just make him Japanese.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are getting really incensed that a lot of the white characters are replacing the ethnic characters.
That's happening to the production of Akira?
Yeah, Akira. But I thought that
the one that's Scarlett Johansson, is that Ghost in the Shell?
Ghost in the Shell.
Okay,
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
Right. And in Doctor Strange, most of the Tibetan leaders are going to be white people.
And Hollywood doesn't change, does it?
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Same thing. The more it changes, the more it stays the same.
Yeah.
And what was
Talk about diversity.
You're right. Diversity in Hollywood. This is diversity in Hollywood. And then, what was it? Akira, because I thought the Keanu Reeves were going to play the main biker person of the biker gang, the gang leader of the bikers. Mm-hmm. But who knows? Maybe this is going to be terrible too. This movie, Akira movie, because the thing about Japanese animation is like it's all about the colors, the music, you get enthralled in the story, and to put it in real person, that's kind of hard to do. You'll either get distracted by the music or you get distracted by the technology, and putting those two together in your brain, sometimes it's difficult to do.
Yeah, that's what you call it Japanese anime. You know, it has its own certain style.
Yeah,
you know,
it's hard to replicate with humans. It's hard to do that.
It doesn't work. Well, basically, what Matrix did, that was a remake of Ghost in the Shell and a bunch of other movies. Mm-hmm. You know, that they just Americanized it.
Right. But the reason why I think it worked with The Matrix is because they toned down the color schemes. They went green. They toned it down a lot.
Right.
But Teenage Mutant Turtles it was almost the same thing. It was like a Japanese anime where it was going 100 miles per hour and you don't know where to look. But like I said, kids are going to love it. But people like us, the movie's not made for us.
Yeah, I decided to skip that one. I'm glad I saw X-Men, even though I was really disappointed. Basically, for me, a little spoiler alert, 5 minutes of Wolverine, that sucked, and the ending just kept on dragging. And the variation for me is, okay, Batman vs. Superman and Civil War, two opposites fighting, then they get together, and Batman and Superman fought Doomsday. Of course, Civil War, they didn't acknowledge they're going to get together because half the team is in prison. That's the way the movie ends. But in X-Men, they are two separate teams, and they finally get together to destroy Apocalypse. And all three movies, they have somebody growing big. Doomsday was a big giant thing. X-Men, Ant-Man, not X-Men, excuse me, Civil War, Ant-Man became big. And of course, X-Men, Apocalypse decides to be this huge, like godlike. And Bryan Singer said in an interview, I got that from Star Trek, Who Wants Adonis. I believe that was the second or third season, the original William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, Captain Kirk, and Spock, where they land on the planet and this alien disguises himself like a Roman god. And he's this big, he plays the Greek god Adonis. And Bryan Singer, being a big Star Trek fan that he is, he decided, let me do a base of Apocalypse on that. But then again, my point is, with all three films, there's not much of a variation on all the same theme.
Right.
Okay.
It's all going to be the same thing. Avengers
what's going to happen
back? It's going to come back, and they're going to fight Theos. Right? And that's also a creature from Guardian of the Galaxy. So they're going to have Guardian of the Galaxy and the Avengers team up to fight Theos.
Right.
So it's going to be like the Apocalypse movies. It will be like the X-Men Apocalypse, which I saw.
Okay. And so what do you think about the X-Men?
I enjoyed it. I had no problem with the X-Men movie. I thought I loved it more than Avengers, or Captain America, I should say. More than Captain America, which is fine. You could have the stable films you like, and I could have the stable films
I prefer Civil War and Deadpool.
And like I said, I enjoyed Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. I didn't like the Avengers too much because I sort of felt like the same story was being told again. And then in Avengers, and then the X-Men, I sort of lost myself because I love the fact that they started introducing all these new characters. Even though a lot of people on the internet who are haters, they were hating on X-Men because they're saying, who's this guy, the Archangel, Angel, he hardly did anything. Yeah. Olivia Munn, she was gorgeous, but she hardly said anything.
Yeah. Storm, wasted.
Oh, there's another one. Oh, Storm was wasted, but there was like, oh man, but I love that Nightcrawler.
Yeah, too much time wasted on Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, what can you do?
Bryan Singer loves his character for some reason.
The fanboys all love Nightcrawler. You can't get away from it.
I don't know why.
And they were also complaining about, Jubilee is there.
And they did nothing with her.
Right, but she was a character created by television. That was a television created character. She was nowhere to be found in the comic books because it was supposed to be Kitty Pryde.
Right.
But I guess they didn't want to pay for that character, so they invented a Kitty Pryde character. They invented Jubilee. So they didn't have to pay for the Kitty Pryde character. And said, no, now you got a Jubilee for your X-Men cartoon Saturday mornings.
Well, that's what happened with Venom. Venom was created by somebody else. It wasn't a Stan Lee creation. And then when they're supposed to do the third movie, somebody decided, let's put Venom in there because we can sell much more merchandise when it's supposed to be the Vulture. Okay? And Mysterio was also supposed to show up, played by Bruce Campbell, believe it or not. And that was the one directed by Sam Raimi, the first three original Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire. So we missed out on the Vulture, and we missed out on Mysterio, and we got Venom instead. Only because he was a more popular character, supposedly. Okay, with merchandise.
They started going back to the Green Goblin over and over again.
Yeah,
back into the well.
Well, now with Spider-Man for the Homecoming, supposedly Vulture is going to is finally going to show up. That's going to be the main villain.
But I think that's going to be kind of hard, though.
They can pull it off. I mean, they've been pulling off these villains so far.
They have to do a guy in a Vulture costume who's bald.
They did. They had John Malkovich, and they had what's that? Not F.F. Abrahams, the other guy who played Mandarin. Okay, and Iron Man 3, what was the actor's name? He played Mandarin.
Oh,
Academy Award winner.
yeah, Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley. Gandhi. He won for Gandhi, okay?
Right.
Best actor for Gandhi. And he got, both actors auditioned. They got dressed up in the costume, bald, wings, and everything. And the studio decided we're not going to use the Vulture.
But I always thought that was a kitschy character. That was always...
I always liked the Vulture.
Spider-Man, they would have kitschy characters. And sort of like Batman had kitschy characters.
Yeah.
That was sort of a kitschy character.
I prefer Vulture over of Sandman and Venom. I was never a Venom fan for some reason. I don't know. But and X-Men, well, Captain America, I still got a problem with Bucky. Enough with the Bucky. At the end of the movie...
You can't help it because I think that a lot of these producers keep... Maybe they're trolling the internet too. They watch these fanboys that cry, "Oh, I love Bucky, I love this," and then they put that person. Same thing with Quicksilver. "Oh, Quicksilver was great. He was wonderful. Oh, this and that."
That same
they keep bringing him back.
The Quicksilver had one of the best scenes in the movie when he rescued everybody from the mansion blowing up. Spoiler!
Spoiler! You're ruining the whole film for people.
They should have seen it by now.
It's your fault.
Sweet dreams are made of this, and you see Quicksilver going like that. I mean, that scene was Bryan Singer really knows how to do a good action sequence like that. That was one of the highlights for me at X-Men. The whole ending just kept on going, like killed this old bastard already. I mean, it just dragged on. And the thing with X-Men, with the bromance, you know, Captain America, you know, your friend Bucky is the mass murderer, but he's my friend. He's a psychopath, but he's my friend. He's gonna turn on you, backstab you, and try to kill you, but he's my friend. And at the end, at the movie, in Civil War, you have the yes, Your Highness, you know, Black Panther said, yes, nobody will find him in my country. You know, the first thing is that, yo, man, you and white trash over here, out of my country. No, I'm not going to protect either one of you guys. Out, you know? And said, the movie ends with him and Bucky again. Of course, you know, the after credit sequence, you know, that Captain America, you haven't seen it? I'm spoiling it? Really? Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, you got to stay for 2 scenes. You got to stay for 2 scenes.
2 scenes. Captain America shows up at the prison at the end to rescue them. But anyway.
But no, the 2 scenes you gotta wait first. One scene they show Spider-Man again, so they're trying to let you know, oh, Spider-Man's coming back. And
when he got that Batman signal kind of thing going.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Look at that, Spider-Man's coming back. Oh. And spoiler for X-Men, if you don't want to hear this, and the end of the X-Men scene, you got to wait through all the credits just to hear that, oh, look, we found this, the Mutant X, you know, serum, and we have it in our possession.
Yes. Well, look, folks, look like we ran out of time. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Don't forget to go to our YouTube page on YouTube, Videoland Express on YouTube, and also our website and my blog and the radio show. There'll be a new one coming up next week. I'm Frank.
And I'm Mark.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you 2 more weeks where we have more reviews. Okay, see you then. And that is a wrap. Now.
Nice.
How we shut? You know how that shut that thing off? Because we're still taping. We're still rolling. A little behind the scenes here, folks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to steal a jelly bean here.
On your DVD. Let me see here. Go nuts with the jelly beans. Let me see.
I love jelly beans. They're not good for my teeth, though. I'm not supposed to be eating these.
I'll go to black.
Ah, these shits are good.
Yeah, sure. Were you saying they're good for your teeth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had so many dental problems when I was in Puerto Rico.
Oh, shoot. Let me see here. Where's the black? I can hit blank. Oops.
Better cut me up before I finish all your jelly beans. That's so funny. I can slap out reading jelly beans.